Perhaps you should not be listening to this right now. Not because this is merely a story, but because certain narratives work best when they find the mind at the right moment. In the countryside of Brazil, there is a kind of silence that does not mean peace. It is an attentive silence, a silence that watches. It appears when the wind stops behaving like wind and starts moving as if it had intention of its own. The elders have always warned, when the air grows heavy without explanation, when the night seems to arrive too slowly, it is not the darkness that comes first, it is him. It never begins with something visible. It never starts with a creature leaping out of the forest. It begins with the uncomfortable sensation of being noticed, a chill that does not fade, a discomfort with no clear cause, a restless horse in the corral stomping the ground as if trying to flee from something that has not yet appeared, a dog that suddenly stops barking and hides as if it understood something you still insist on ignoring. Time seems to slow down, and then, in the middle of the path, the yard, or the road, a weak whirlwind forms, too small to terrify, too organized to be natural. The leaves do not spin like leaves. They obey. Something has arrived, and when something arrives like that, it did not come merely to pass through. There is a dangerous mistake many people make when thinking about the Saci, believing he is unique, a single being, a character. The oldest versions of the legend never said that. They speak of many, numerous, spread through forests, fields, forgotten roads. Some appear small, almost childlike. Others are too large, too broad, too wrong to be called goblins. They have no definitive form because they do not need one. The form you see is the form that works best on you. Fear chooses the face that hurts the most. The descriptions never fully match, and this is not a failure of memory. Black as the deepest shadow of the forest, his skin blending into the darkness as if light avoided touching him. A single leg, not as a limitation but as a warning, something that does not follow common rules. He does not walk, he appears. He is there because he decided to be. Sometimes there are eyes, red, too alert, too deep. Sometimes there is nothing where the face should be, only an unsettling void, a space where your mind tries to place something and fails. Bald, hairless, without clear signs of humanity. Too ancient to be just a spirit, too close to be just a legend. The whistle always comes first, always. At the beginning, it is almost irritating, thin, insistent, a sound that seems to test your nerves. It comes from one side, then another, then from behind. When you try to locate its source, it moves. When you grow irritated, it comes closer. The mistake is thinking the whistle exists to scare you. It exists to measure you, to calculate how long it takes before you lose control. The instant you respond, even if only in your thoughts, it already knows exactly where you are. And knowing where you are is all it needs. Horses understand this before humans ever do. They always have. In the middle of the night, something heavy drops onto the animal's back. One leg. A short, dry laugh. The whistle now closer, slicing through the air like a blade. The horse bolts without control while its mane tightens into impossible braids, made too quickly, too firmly. There are marks on the neck. There is blood. Not much, just enough to weaken. When the animal returns, if it returns, its eyes are different. Its body is too exhausted to explain. Some never come back. And no one goes looking because everyone knows what that means. Those who believe walls protect them do not understand what they are dealing with. Doors do not hold back the wind. Windows do not stop what does not need to walk in. Fire begins to behave incorrectly. Embers are tossed from one pierced hand to the other, pass through impossible holes, and fall to the floor while a low laugh echoes through the house. Food burns for no reason, turns sour suddenly, disappears. Objects change places. Blankets are slowly pulled during the night, not enough to fully wake you, but enough to make sure you feel it. It is not to injure, it is to mark territory. It is to make it clear that he entered, and that he can enter whenever he wants. Everything revolves around the cap, red, old, an object that crosses cultures and centuries. Portuguese goblins, Roman incubi, demons that promised fortune in exchange for obedience. While the cap is on his head, the wind obeys. The world bends slightly, but when someone manages to remove it, something worse happens. The Saci loses control, but not awareness. He begs, promises wealth, secrets, things no one should know, and that is where many people make their final mistake. Because accepting a deal never means it ends when you want it to. The methods to capture him are far too simple for something so dangerous. Wait for the whirlwind. Throw a crossed sieve. Use a rosary made of grass. Reach in without hesitation. Tear off the cap. Trap him in a bottle sealed with a cross. It works. But nothing that works like this comes without a cost. Every imprisonment creates a debt. And ancient debts are never forgotten. They say the Saci lives 77 years. After that, he disappears. Becomes a poisonous mushroom. Becomes a bracket fungus clinging to old trunks. But mushrooms grow from living matter. And the wind never dies. It only changes place. Sometimes it moves closer than it should. Now think carefully. Since this story began, have you noticed the sounds around you? The silence between one word and the next? The air in the room? Perhaps it is just imagination. Perhaps. But if, after this video ends, you hear a whistle and cannot tell where it comes from, do not answer. If the atmosphere feels heavy for no reason, do not stare into the dark. If something seems out of place, accept the warning. Offer tobacco, a sip of cachaça. Lower your head and go on your way, because some legends do not want to be confronted. They want attention. They want respect. And sometimes they want to know whether, at some point in this story, you realized that you were no longer alone.